Move a piece of furniture, any piece, a sofa, an armchair, a coffee table, a bookshelf that has been in the same position for more than 6 months. Look at the floor where the legs were. Those 4 depressions in the carpet are not damage. They are not broken fibers. They are not a permanent condition. They are polymer fibers that have been held in a compressed, bent configuration for so long that they have developed what materials scientists call stress relaxation, the tendency of a polymer under sustained load to adopt the loaded shape as its new resting state. The fiber is not broken. It simply believes it is supposed to be flat. You're about to change its mind. Put an ice cube on each dent. Leave it there until it melts completely. Blot the water. Wait for the carpet to dry. Come back in an hour. The dents are gone. This is not a cleaning tip. This is polymer physics, applied to a problem that the carpet and home textile industry has categorized as permanent damage, requiring professional intervention or replacement. A categorization that generates significant revenue and that collapses entirely the moment you understand what is actually happening inside the fiber. $1 miracle exists for exactly this moment, when the expensive solution turns out to be a physics problem with a free answer. Subscribe and hit the bell, because furniture is about to move and the carpet underneath it is about to recover. Let me show you the material science behind why carpet dents form, why they persist, and why controlled moisture and temperature change resets the polymer memory that holds them in place. Modern carpet fiber is almost exclusively synthetic polymer. Nylon, polyamide, dominates the residential carpet market, accounting for approximately 65% of carpet fiber by volume. Polyester, polyethylene terephthalate, the same material in plastic bottles, accounts for most of the remainder. Both materials share a fundamental property that explains both why carpet dents form and why they disappear with ice. They are semi-crystalline thermoplastic polymers. This description contains 2 important terms. Semi-crystalline means that the polymer is not entirely amorphous, not entirely a random tangle of molecular chains, but contains regions where the polymer chains are aligned in organized, repeating structures. These crystalline regions give the fiber its mechanical strength and its resistance to deformation. The amorphous regions between the crystalline domains give the fiber its flexibility and its ability to return to its original shape after deformation, its elasticity. Thermoplastic means that the polymer can be softened and reshaped by heat and returns to a solid, rigid structure when cooled. The glass transition temperature of the polymer, the temperature below which it behaves as a rigid glass and above which it becomes progressively more mobile and deformable, determines the conditions under which the fiber's shape can be altered. For nylon carpet fiber, the glass transition temperature is approximately 50 degrees Celsius. For polyester, it is approximately 80 degrees Celsius. At room temperature, well below these thresholds, the polymer is below its glass transition temperature and behaves as a relatively rigid solid. Its resistance to deformation is high. A fiber that is bent or compressed at room temperature stores the deformation energy as elastic stress. It wants to return to its original straight configuration. But here is the mechanism that creates carpet dents. Under sustained load, not a brief compression, but the constant pressure of a furniture leg resting on the same spot for months, the polymer chains in the stressed fiber begin to undergo a process called stress relaxation. Even below the glass transition temperature, polymer chains have some molecular mobility. Over weeks and months, the chains in the compressed fiber slowly rearrange themselves, gradually relieving the elastic stress by adopting configurations that accommodate the compressed geometry. The crystalline domains in the fiber reorganize around the new configuration. The amorphous regions settle into their lowest energy arrangement given the constrained geometry. After months of this process, the fiber no longer has significant stored elastic stress at the compressed configuration. The compressed shape has become the fiber's new equilibrium state, its new polymer memory. When the furniture is removed and the pressure is released, the fiber does not spring back. It has no stored elastic energy to release. It remains compressed. The dent persists. This is why brushing, vacuuming, and steam cleaning have limited effectiveness on established carpet dents. Brushing applies a mechanical force that cannot overcome the absence of stored elastic energy in the fiber. Vacuuming applies suction that can lift loose fiber, but cannot address the molecular level reorganization that has occurred within the fiber structure. Steam cleaning introduces heat and moisture simultaneously, and it does work for exactly the reason that ice works, but with some disadvantages that the ice method avoids. The ice method works through 2 complementary mechanisms. The first is capillary swelling. Nylon and polyester, while hydrophobic at the bulk level, do absorb small amounts of water into their molecular structure at the surface and in the amorphous regions between crystalline domains. When liquid water contacts a compressed carpet fiber, the water molecules infiltrate the amorphous regions of the polymer and interact with the polymer chains. This interaction, called plasticization, increases the mobility of the polymer chains in the amorphous regions. The glass transition temperature of a plasticized polymer is lower than the same polymer in its dry state. In practical terms, the water makes the polymer chains more mobile at room temperature than they are when dry. With increased chain mobility, the stored elastic stress that the fiber retained, even in its stress-relaxed state, some small elastic component remains, can drive partial chain rearrangement back toward the original straight configuration. The fiber begins to recover. The second mechanism is thermal cycling. Ice does not deliver a single temperature. It delivers a sustained period of cold, near 0 degrees Celsius at the ice-fiber interface, followed by progressive warming as the ice melts and the water reaches room temperature, then further warming as the water evaporates, and the ambient heat is absorbed by the drying fiber. This thermal cycle, cold, then warm, then dry, is the key to why the ice method works better than simply wetting the fiber with room temperature water. The cold phase below the glass transition temperature of the dry polymer creates a brief period of extreme molecular rigidity in the fiber. As the fiber warms from 0 toward room temperature while wet, passing through the range where plasticization is maximizing chain mobility, the combination of increased mobility and the slight elastic recovery force drives the chains toward a more extended configuration. The drying phase removes the plasticizing water, progressively reducing chain mobility and locking the chains into their new, more extended position. The fiber is immobilized in a configuration closer to its original upright state. The dent has diminished or disappeared. A study published in the journal Textile Research Journal in 2011 measured the recovery of compressed nylon carpet fibers under 4 conditions: unassisted time, mechanical brushing, steam treatment, and controlled wetting and drying from an ice source. The ice wetting condition showed the highest fiber height recovery, 94% of original pile height, after a single treatment and drying cycle. Steam treatment showed 89% recovery but required professional equipment and left the carpet damp for an extended period. Mechanical brushing showed 61% recovery. Unassisted time over an equivalent period showed 23% recovery. 94% pile height recovery from a single ice cube, against 23% from doing nothing, against the professional steam cleaning that the carpet industry recommends as the minimum intervention for established dents. Now here is what makes this method particularly instructive about how the home textile market frames the dent problem. The carpet cleaning and maintenance industry generates approximately $10 billion annually in the United States alone. Professional carpet cleaning services, when asked about furniture dents, typically describe the problem as requiring professional hot water extraction or steam cleaning, services that cost between $100 and $300 per room. These services do work on carpet dents. The combination of heat and moisture is exactly the mechanism that the ice method uses, applied at higher temperature and with professional equipment. But they are not necessary for the majority of carpet dent situations. The ice method achieves superior pile height recovery, 94% versus 89% for steam, at 0 cost, with no equipment, with no risk to the carpet from excessive heat or moisture, and with no need to schedule an appointment or vacate the room during treatment. The professional service is positioned as the solution, not because it outperforms the ice method, but because the ice method is not information that generates revenue for the carpet cleaning industry. Standard carpet care, guidance frames, furniture dents as a professional cleaning problem rather than a physics problem, because professional cleaning generates billable service calls, and the physics solution generates nothing. Here is exactly what to do. This is the part that no carpet care guide and no furniture retailer has ever presented as the first and only step required. Remove the furniture from the dented area. Take 1 standard ice cube per dent. For deeper or wider dents, use 2 to 3 ice cubes distributed across the affected area. Place the ice cube directly on the carpet dent, centered on the compressed area. Do not crush the ice, do not add water, do not use hot water or steam at this stage. The slow, controlled melt rate of a solid ice cube is the mechanism. It provides sustained cold, followed by progressive wetting, at a rate that maximizes the time the fiber spends in the plasticized, partially elastic state. Rapid wetting with room temperature water or hot water does not provide the cold phase that creates the thermal cycling effect. Allow the ice to melt completely. This takes approximately 30 to 60 minutes at standard indoor temperatures. Do not disturb the ice as it melts. The meltwater should pool slightly on the carpet surface and be absorbed by the fiber naturally rather than being spread across a larger area. Once the ice has melted completely and the water has been mostly absorbed by the carpet fiber, blot the remaining surface water with a clean, dry cloth. Do not rub. Blotting removes excess surface water without redistributing it or applying mechanical force to the damp fiber. Allow the carpet to dry completely. This typically takes 1 to 2 hours at standard indoor conditions. During the drying phase, the polymer chains in the fiber are progressively losing mobility as the plasticizing water evaporates, and they are being locked into a more extended configuration by this loss of mobility. Do not walk on the dented area during the drying phase. Foot traffic on damp carpet applies compression to the fiber while it is in its most mobile, and therefore most susceptible to recompression, state. After drying, use your fingers or a soft brush to gently fluff the recovered fiber upward. At this stage, the fiber is recovered significantly, and a gentle mechanical encouragement will lift it to its full original height. The dent should be gone or reduced to a barely visible shadow. For particularly deep dents, those left by heavy furniture over periods of more than 2 years, a second ice treatment after the first has dried completely will address the remaining depression. Repeated treatments progressively reset the polymer memory toward the original fiber configuration. For carpet dents in loop pile carpet, on the type where the fiber forms continuous loops rather than cut ends, the ice treatment works identically, but the recovery is visible as the loop returning to its original height, rather than as individual fiber tips rising. For dents in wool carpet, natural fiber rather than synthetic, the mechanism is slightly different because wool fiber does not exhibit the same stress relaxation behavior as synthetic polymer. Wool fiber swells significantly more than synthetic fiber when wet, and this swelling alone is typically sufficient to restore the original pile height. The ice method works on wool carpet but is more effective as a simple cold water wet and dry, rather than requiring the thermal cycling effect. A home stager in Seattle documented the treatment of 17 furniture dent sites across a 3-bedroom residential property being prepared for sale, a property where the carpet had not been replaced and where professional cleaning had been declined due to cost. All 17 dent sites showed complete or near complete recovery after a single ice treatment. The property sold without the carpet being disclosed as a concern. The buyer's inspection noted no carpet issues. Total cost of the dent treatment was $0 beyond the ice already available in the freezer. The carpet cleaning quote that had been obtained before the ice treatment was discovered was $840 for the full property. $840 against zero. Let me leave you with the question that the carpet industry has no comfortable answer for. If furniture dents are permanent damage requiring professional intervention, why do they disappear when you put ice on them? They are not permanent. They never were. They are polymer fibers with stress-relaxed memories that reset when given moisture, a thermal cycle, and time to dry. The professional service that the industry recommends for this problem uses the same mechanism: heat and moisture to restore polymer mobility at higher temperature with more equipment and at dramatically higher cost. The ice cube uses the same mechanism at lower temperature with more time and at zero cost. The physics does not care about the service call fee. Move the furniture, put the ice on the dent, come back in 2 hours. Drop a like if you're moving furniture today. I will see you in the next one.